Well, hello, all of our crafty friends. It's Kiona, the craft therapist, with my friend TR from TR's Place.
Hi.
So, we wanted you guys to come along with us because we're doing something really, really fun this month. And I hope that you guys are as excited as we are. So, what are we doing, TR?
So Kiona has asked me to collaborate with her to make a masculine multimedia card. And we've done that. And we hope that you enjoy it. I know Kiona's is a Father's Day card, which has already been given. And she has no idea what mine is.
And I have no idea what hers is. So this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to watch both videos. If you look in the description box, we will make sure that you have the links to both of our channels. And we would love for you to leave us a comment of encouragement on both channels, because there might just be a little surprise for you if you do that within the next 7 days. So this video is going to go up on Thursday, August the 5th. So we will say by Thursday, August the 12th, everyone should have an opportunity to go over and comment on both of our videos with a comment of encouragement. And I will be back with a little bit of a surprise. How's that sound?
Nice. That sounds good.
All right, guys. So let's get crafting. I hope you guys enjoyed the videos, and we are going to look forward to chatting with you guys in the comment section. Talk to you soon.
Hey, bye.
Okay, friends. Hi, we are here for our masculine card collaboration between myself and TR's Place. I really hope that you guys come by and give some encouragement and watch both of the videos and really just have a good time with us. So I'm going into Design Space and I designed this card, and I decided that I wanted to use some of the wood veneer that Cricut came out with probably like a year ago, and I'm going to do an anchor, and I'm going to use some vinyl for some of our wording to make our sentiment in the front, as well as our Happy Father's Day on the inside. Now, I also have written my inside sentiment with Design Space using the writing tool, and that is going to be detached, but I'm going to attach it for the purposes of cutting so that it will just cut out of the same type of paper. And then I have another piece that is going to be in vinyl that's going to say Happy Father's Day on the inside above the writing. And then I have this piece that I am going to use as my inside matte piece. So I'm going to show you how all of this is going to go together. I know that it probably looked a little crazy. I'm going to start out with some acetate, and I am using some alcohol inks today. So we had to do mixed media, and I'm not a really messy crafter, but I decided to bring out some denim as well as some aquamarine. I'm going to use the color aqua, and then I'm going to bring in pool, and finally I'm going to use sailboat blue. Now those are my blues. I'm going to have my alcohol blending solution, and I'm using the sterling alloy as well as the little blower tool that Tim Holtz came out with a couple of years ago. So I'm just going to shake up my inks, and I'm going to start dropping it and just playing around with it. It was really fun, and this is probably about as messy as I get when it comes to mixed media, but I wanted to make this look like or give the feel of water, and so that's why I'm using all of these different variations of blues. And I'm just starting out by putting all of this blue down on the acetate. I'll then start adding in some of my alcohol as well as the blending solution, because they do something a little bit different. You know, the blending solution really kind of disperses it and but still keeps the vibrancy of the color. I feel like sometimes the alcohol beads it up a little bit, and it sometimes gives you a little bit more of a fade. And then I'm going to bring in this sterling alloy. And I use that just to kind of give it a little bit of depth and dimension as I'm working it through. So I'm bringing in that tool from Tim Holtz, and I'm starting to blow that around a little bit just to get a little bit of a mixture. I know that with it being blues, it's very easy for them to just kind of blend all together. And this is why I'm using different items. I'm using the blower, and then I'm also using the alcohol, and I'm using the blending solution, because they all do some different things and give you different layers of depth. I'm also allowing some of it to dry, and then I'm bringing in more color on top of it. And so I'm just having a whole lot of fun. And I probably sat here for about 30 minutes just playing around with alcohol inks. I have to say, getting back into crafting, this was a lot of fun. So I'm glad that I decided to do this as a challenge and a collaboration video with my great friend TR from TR's Place. So now I have the anchor pieces, and I have also cut out those pieces in different types of vinyl just to try to give some dimension to what I'm creating. So I'm using this brown tan color as the look of the rope, and I'm going to put it directly on top of this very shiny silver piece, and I'm going to line those two up just to give it the dimensional look that I'm looking for with the anchor and the rope. Sorry, I'm a little bit off screen here, but you know, sometimes when you're trying to line things up with your transfer paper, I'm sorry, words are hard today. When you're trying to line it up with your transfer paper, sometimes you have to get right over the top to get it lined up correctly. And then I'm just going to use some cardstock. This is some heavyweight cardstock. I believe it was the 130-pound Not Your Mama's cardstock from Brutus Monroe that I used for this. And I'm going to use that as the very bottom layer. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the anchor piece of this. I found this kind of gunmetal gray, and I felt like it looked a little rustic and would go very well with the theme of having this anchor and the rope, and it offered some really good contrast for this as well. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm just going to try to line it up really well and get that seamlessly on top of that Not Your Mama's cardstock. Now, once I do that, I want to give it a little bit more dimension. So when I get ready to put this together, I'm going to actually try to loop this piece of rope inside of the anchor so that it gives some additional dimension. And I think that that came out super cute. So now I have those wood veneer pieces that I cut out with the Cricut, and I also have some more vinyl that's going to layer on top of those pieces for our sentiment. This is the sentiment that's going to go on the outside, and it just says "Our Anchor." This is a card that I decided that I was going to make for my husband, just because he is such a integral part of our family, and I really do believe that he is the anchor that kind of keeps us all together. He really keeps me kind of balanced, and you know, he's that perfect balance between strength and compassion. So I thought that this would be a really, really good card to do for a masculine card that had some mixed media to go with it. So that was the anchor and the sentiment that's going to go inside. Now I'm also using that wood veneer to go around the outside of my inner piece of my card. So where I'm doing my inside writing, I have the wood veneer piece acting as a mat as well. And then I have some of this holographic mirror cardstock that I'm going to then mat that with. So I have the actual writing piece, and then I have it on two mats, and you can see I cut out the Our Anchor out of the center of that wood veneer piece just to kind of save on some of the materials that I was using. So now I'm going to put this Happy Father's Day inside of the card. So it's going to be Happy Father's Day to the best father any wife could ask for her kids. Thanks for being all that I need. So that's how the card will read on the inside, and then on the outside it will say Our Anchor. So I'm just going ahead and getting that down on my transfer tape, and I'm going to put that right above the portion of the card that I had the Cricut right on our cardstock, and that is some 80-pound Nina cardstock that I'm using for the writing portion of the card. So that's what this piece on the inside is going to look like when everything is done, and I thought that that came out super, super cute. So the next thing that we're going to go in and do is, this is the card base. Now I am going to take some additional acetate and kind of mirror squish this in together to make it look like water encasing the front of the card. I hope that I'm able to explain this well for you guys, but if not, just give me a little bit of grace, okay? So I'm going to bring out my Fiskars trimmer, and I'm going to go ahead and trim down our alcohol piece now that it has had an opportunity to completely dry. And I am going to cut this at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 because I'm making a 5x7 card. I cut out 2 pieces from this because I want one piece on the inside and then I want one piece on the outside. So I'm going to bring in some of my score tape, and I'm going to go all the way around the front portion of the card on the inside, and I'm going to layer this with score tape, and I'm using like a 1/2 inch score tape from I think it's from Score Pal. I'm not quite sure, but I usually get it off of Amazon. Now I am going to take this and I'm going to carefully place the acetate piece inside where I have placed my score tape, and I'm going to press that down, and then I will have a wood piece that will go around there to finish that off. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the outer edge, and the reason that I did acetate on the inside and the outside as well as the wood veneer is because I've cut out so much of the front of this card. I didn't want it to be flimsy with the amount of sturdiness that the inside of the card is going to have. Remember, I used the mirror cardstock, the wood veneer, and then I used 80-pound cardstock on this card base. So if I did that on the inside, but did not have enough weight on the outside, this card would probably fall over really quickly. And I'm definitely a person that loves a very sturdy and substantial card. So this is why I chose to put the acetate on both the inside and the outside. And now I'm just doing my dry fitting for my card, and I'm going to see where I want everything to kind of lie once the card is all said and done. And I'm going to end up cutting off a piece of the anchor. And I really like the way that that looked because it really kind of finishes off the card. You know, sometimes when you have things coming off the edge of the card, it just kind of gives you that imagination that it continues. So I'm kind of doing that dry fit now, trying to figure out what I'm exactly going to want it to look like. And then I'm going to place my other wood veneer pieces on the front and on the inside of this card. So I'm just fiddling around with it a little bit, trying to decide how much I want to cut off. I'm trying not to have to cut off anything at the very top. And then I'm trying to decide whether I want the anchor piece to overlap the anchor at all, because that might make me need to use foam tape. And I'm not trying to give this card too much more dimension than what it already has. So I'm going to bring in some more of my score tape, and I'm going to use the score tape to go all the way around the edges of the wood veneer piece. Now I'm using a lot of score tape just because this was my first time using that wood veneer, and I really had no idea how it would stick. And to me, the score tape is probably the stickiest tape I own. So I usually use that when I am in doubt. When in doubt, I pull that out. So I'm going around and sticking that down and making sure that it gets a good adherence so that nothing comes up, especially with the fact that it is overlapping that anchor where I am going to be cutting it off. Now I'm going in and I'm going around in the places where this lifts a little, and I'm adding little pieces of score tape behind the rope and the anchor. And the reason that I'm doing it this way was because I wasn't quite sure how I was going to want this to be until I actually got it down. So sometimes things happen a little wonky when I'm doing my cards, and it's just a part of the card making process, and all is well. No one ever knows the difference or is the wiser. So I'm going to go ahead and do this score tape around this other piece of the wood veneer. And like I said, there's a 1/2 inch border all the way around. It is exactly the same cut as the actual window that I cut out of the front of the card. Now, if you are a Cricut user and you are a part of my craft therapy group and you would like this file, just let me know in the group and I will drop it into our file section into the group, because if you would like to make a card similar to this, I would love to share with you. So please just send me a message in the group or just leave a post in the group and let me know that this is something that you would like for me to add in the file section, and you will have the Cricut file for this. So this is what we have thus far. Now I'm going to go and put my inside piece in. Now you can see that this is going to leave about 1/8 of an inch border with the card base. So the mirror cardstock piece is that 5 3/4 by 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, which leaves me with 1/8 of an inch border around the inside of the card. I'm going to use some liquid glue. I usually use my art glitter glue from maymaymadeit.com, and that is what I use when I know things are going to adhere to paper well, because that is my favorite liquid glue. I don't really have much to compare it to because it is the glue that I've been using since I started crafting. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to use more of my score tape to put down my actual sentiment piece, this part that says our anchor. And I'm going to just cut up this score tape into little pieces and get it as covered as possible with score tape so that I don't have to worry about any lifting. And then I'm going to use my little weeding pen to get all of that paper off and start to put my actual front sentiment down. Now, the front of this card, other than the anchor having the heavyweight cardstock and the vinyl, there is not much dimension to the front of this card, and I wanted to kind of keep it a little more simple. So this is pretty well what the card is going to look like. I am going to cut off this piece of the anchor from the inside, and this is our card. I thought this card came out really cute. I really enjoyed making it, and I thought that it was a super fun masculine and multimedia card. I hope that you guys enjoyed it too. Please let me know, and I want you guys to make sure you go and visit TR's place as well. We really appreciate you guys, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.